90% of the work is invisible. Nobody claps for it. And that's exactly where most people quit, 1 inch from the breakthrough, because the pain right there feels like proof they failed. But the wall was never trying to stop you. It was testing if you'd lie to yourself one more time. And most people do. They say they are tired. They say the timing is wrong. They say they need more motivation. They say they will start again tomorrow. But tomorrow becomes another tomorrow. And eventually, a person can spend years practicing the same excuse until the excuse feels like truth. That's how people lose their lives. Not in one dramatic collapse. Quiet, one broken promise at a time. One skipped morning. One distracted afternoon. 1 hour spent watching someone else build the life they secretly want. You think these moments are too small to matter. They are not. Small decisions are votes. Every time you choose discipline, you vote for the person you want to become. Every time you choose comfort, you vote for the person you are trying to escape. And the dangerous part is that nothing happens immediately. There is no alarm, no red warning light, no voice telling you that you just betrayed yourself. You simply wake up the next morning and repeat it. That is why weakness is so seductive. It rarely looks like destruction. It looks like relief. 5 more minutes, 1 more episode, 1 more excuse, 1 more day to think about it. Comfort whispers softly because it knows it does not need to fight you. It only needs you to delay. And delay is where dreams go to die. You have probably experienced that moment. You know what needs to be done. You even know exactly how to do it. But something inside you starts negotiating. Maybe later. Maybe after I feel better. Maybe when life becomes easier. Maybe when I have more money. Maybe when I have more confidence. Listen carefully. The version of you waiting for confidence is the version creating more reasons to remain weak. Confidence does not come first. Action comes first. Evidence comes first. You keep promises to yourself. Then you trust yourself. You execute when nobody is watching. Then your mind begins to believe you are capable. You suffer without running. Then your nervous system learns that discomfort is not danger. That is how identity is built. Not through affirmations alone. Not through wishing. Through evidence. Your confidence is simply your reputation with yourself. And right now, you already know what that reputation looks like. You know which promises you have broken. You know which habits you keep pretending are temporary. You know what you have been avoiding. You know the conversation you need to have. You know the work you keep postponing. You know the standard you lowered because raising it would demand more from you. And you have become very good at explaining why. Stop explaining. The explanation is not the solution. The execution is. This is where the wall appears. You work, you push, you sacrifice, and nothing seems to change. Your body still looks the same. Your bank account still looks the same. Your business still feels invisible. Your audience is still small. Your results still look ordinary. And suddenly the mind says, see, it is not working. That sentence has destroyed more potential than failure ever could. Because failure is visible, but quitting at the wall looks reasonable. You can tell yourself you were being realistic. You can tell yourself you tried. You can tell yourself that maybe this dream was never meant for you. But what if the wall is not evidence that you're losing? What if it's evidence that the easy part is over? The beginning gives you emotion. The middle gives you nothing. The beginning is exciting. The middle is repetitive. The beginning gets attention. The middle gets silence. The beginning makes you feel like a new person. The middle asks you to become that person. That is why the middle breaks people. There is no applause there. No dramatic music. No audience. Just repetition. Wake up. Work. Train. Study. Build. Fail. Correct. Repeat. Again and again and again. This is the part nobody posts. Nobody wants to show the empty room. Nobody wants to show the failed attempts. Nobody wants to show months of doubt. Everyone wants the result. Almost nobody wants the process that earns it. But the process is the point. The invisible work is where the transformation happens. The boring work changes you. The lonely work changes you. The work you hate doing changes you. Because every time you complete a difficult task without needing to feel inspired, you become harder to control. You become less dependent on emotion, less dependent on approval, less dependent on perfect conditions. You become dangerous to your old identity. That is the real breakthrough. Not the money, not the body, not the title, not the recognition. The breakthrough is when you become the kind of person who no longer needs to negotiate with himself. A weak mind asks, do I feel like doing this? A disciplined mind, was this decided already? That is the difference. One negotiates, the other executes. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the obstacles placed before us and the way those obstacles obstacles can become part of the journey itself. The principle is simple. The obstacle is not always separate from the journey. Sometimes the obstacle is the journey. Sometimes the delay is building patience. Sometimes rejection is forcing you to sharpen your craft. Sometimes loneliness is teaching you how to stand without applause. Sometimes failure is exposing a weakness that success would have allowed you to hide. Pain is not always punishment. Sometimes it is pain information. Sometimes it is training. Sometimes it is the price. Every trait you want has a cost. You want strength, you pay with resistance. You want focus, you pay with distraction you refused. You want confidence, you pay with uncomfortable action. You want freedom, you pay with discipline. You want respect, you pay by becoming someone worthy of respecting. There is no discount version. You cannot bargain with reality, and yet every day people try. They want the result without the repetition, the physique without the training, the wealth without the years, the business without the boring systems, the confidence without the moments that force them to earn it. They want the summit while negotiating with the mountain. It does not work that way. You must pay, and you must pay before you understand what the payment is buying. That is what makes discipline difficult. The reward comes late. The sacrifice comes now. Your brain wants the opposite. It wants the reward now. The sacrifice never. So you must train yourself to think differently. Stop asking, what do I get today? Ask, who am I becoming because I did this today? That question changes everything, because now the workout is not just a workout, it is a vote. The study session is not just studying, it is identity reinforcement. The business call is not just a business call, it is evidence. The difficult morning is not wasted time, it is the construction site. And you need to understand something else. You will fail. You will have weak days. You will lose your rhythm. You will make mistakes. You will disappoint yourself. Good. That is not the end. Missing once is a mistake. Missing twice can become a pattern. So recover quickly. Do not turn one bad day into an identity. Do not say, I always do this. Do not build a prison from one mistake. Get back in. The goal is not perfection. The goal is refusing to make failure comfortable. That is the difference. You fall, you stand, you adjust, you continue. You do not turn one missed day into 7. You do not turn one failure into a philosophy. You do not let temporary pain become permanent surrender. And while you build, something else will happen. People will notice. Some will support you. Some will question you. Some will laugh. Some will become uncomfortable because your discipline exposes their excuses. This is where many people collapse again. They start living according to the opinions of people who are not building the life they want. Why? Why are you asking someone for permission to become someone better? You do not need unanimous approval. You need clarity. Trees do not compete with grass for height. They simply grow. And as you grow, your environment may stop fitting. That is not always betrayal. Sometimes it is separation. Not everyone can come with. Some relationships are built around the version of you that you are trying to outgrow. The moment you stop drinking, they call you boring. The moment you stop wasting weekend, they call you obsessed. The moment you start saying no, they call you selfish. The moment you become serious, they ask, what happened to you? Good. Something did happen. You changed. Protect that change. Not with arrogance, with boundaries. You do not need to announce your evolution. You prove it through behavior. And that brings you to the next law. Definiteness of purpose. A scattered mind is easy to control. Too many goals, too many distractions, too many open doors, too many opinions, too many possibilities. You keep everything available because choosing one path feels like losing the others, but refusing to choose is still a choice, and it has a price. Focus requires elimination. You cannot chase everything. Choose the mountain, then climb. There will be days when you question it. Climb anyway. There will be days when you feel behind. Climb anyway. There will be days when someone younger passes you. Climb anyway. Your emotional state does not get to determine your standard. That is the whole game. The standard remains. Your feelings change. Your circumstances change. The weather changes. People change. The standard remains. This is what self-governance means. You become the authority inside your own mind. Your word becomes law. When you say you will wake up, you wake up. When you say you will train, you train. When you say you will finish the work, you finish. Not because someone is watching, because you are watching, and that is enough. Imagine there's a camera following you through your day. Nobody can see the footage. Nobody will ever upload it. There is no audience. But one day, the entire story will be revealed. Every morning, every excuse, every sacrifice, every time you stood back up, every night you chose discipline over comfort. What would that documentary say about you? Would it show a person constantly waiting for the right mood? Or would it show someone who learned to move without permission from from his feelings? Would it show someone who talked about becoming great or someone who quietly became great? That is your choice. Every day, not someday, today, right now, because the future is not built by massive decisions alone. It is built by ordinary decisions repeated until they become destiny. You do not need another motivational video. You need another completed action. You do not need another perfect plan. You need another hour of focused work. You do not need to feel powerful. You need to practice keeping your word. You do not need to know exactly how everything ends. You need enough courage to take the next step. The wall is still there. Good. Push against it. Your hands may hurt. Push. Your mind may doubt you. Push. Your friends may disappear. Push. Your results may stay invisible. Push. Because the wall is measuring something. Not your talent, not your luck, your willingness to remain honest when the reward is delayed. That is what the wall is testing. Will you keep your promise when nobody knows whether you kept it? Will you continue when there is no evidence yet? Will you work when the emotional high is gone? Will you become disciplined enough to act without being inspired? That is the threshold. And most people turn around just before it. They think they are finished. They are not. They are being measured. So stop interpreting pain as proof that you should quit. Sometimes pain is proof that you are finally doing something that matters. Stop interpreting silence as failure. Sometimes silence means the foundation is being built. Stop interpreting slow progress as no progress. A seed does not look impressive underground, but underground is where the future is forming. You cannot rush the invisible phase. You can only honor it. Stay, build, repeat. Let the days become weeks. Let the weeks become months. Let the months become years. At first, nothing seems to happen. Then, something shifts. You wake up stronger. You think clearer. You become calmer. You stop reacting. You stop explaining. You stop chasing validation. You stop needing everyone to understand. And suddenly, the person who used to struggle with the basics is gone. Not because he discovered some secret, because he stayed long enough for repetition to become identity. That is your real transformation. The world may call it talent. They may call it luck. They may say you became disciplined naturally. Let them. They did not see the invisible work. They did not hear the negotiations you defeated. They did not see the nights you wanted to quit. They did not see you choosing the harder option when nobody would have known the difference. You did, and that is enough. So when the next wall appears, do not ask, why me? Ask, what is this building in me? When the result is late, do not ask whether it is worth it. Ask whether you are willing to become the person capable of holding the result. When you feel like quitting, remember this: the pain is temporary. The identity you build through surviving it is permanent. You were never promised an easy path. You were promised a chance to become harder to break. And now you have the choice: return to comfort or walk back into the fire. One path gives you immediate relief. The other gives you a life you can respect. Choose carefully, because every easy choice has a bill, and every difficult choice has a reward. The question is not whether you will suffer. You will. The question is whether your suffering will be chosen or wasted. So choose. Choose the early morning. Choose the empty room. Choose the boring repetition. Choose the lonely discipline. Choose the uncomfortable truth. Choose the work that nobody sees. Choose to keep your word. And when the wall stands in front of you again, remember what it is really asking. Not, are you talented enough? Not, are you lucky enough? Not, are you ready? It is asking one thing: will you betray yourself one more time? Do not. Step forward. Push again and again and again, because the breakthrough rarely announces itself. It usually arrives disguised as one more ordinary day when you refuse to quit. The world may not clap. Nobody may notice. You may still feel exhausted. Keep going. The work is working. The silence is working. The repetition is working. And the wall was never your enemy. It was the final test between the person you have been and the person you said you wanted to become. Now prove that your words still mean something. Get up, go back to work, and do not stop at the wall.